20 million people affected, 4 million people homeless, countless dead, and 1/5 of the country underwater. These are the bleak statistics about Pakistan today, and it's likely to get worse. As we learned with Hurricane Katrina, it is when the floodwaters recede that the true extent of the damage can be known. Another similarity with Katrina, of course, has been the criticism leveled against the Pakistani government for its response to the disaster. Imran Khan, the former Pakistani cricket player and politician, is the founder and leader of the Pakistani political party, Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf, and he is one of the government's most vocal critics. We welcome Imran from Islamabad. Imran, tell us, if you will, whether we have understood the magnitude of this problem correctly. What is it like on the ground in Pakistan from your perspective?
I don't think the international community fully comprehends the extent of the disaster, because as you quite aptly put, the real problem is going to come when the water recedes. And in that time, there's fear of disease. But the biggest fear is that about 20 million people will be completely impoverished. Now, most of these are subsistence farmers. So they have lost their crops, they have lost their animals, they rely on the animals, their houses, and everything in the houses. Because as the water was going up, they left to save their lives, they left their homes. So they will be left without shelter, without food, without any source of income. And you are not talking about, a few people, it's 20 million people. And then on top of it, this area is also Pakistan's greatest producing area of cash crop, cotton. So the cotton crop is going to be affected. So as it is, the country is going through its worst economic crisis. So the extent, the magnitude of the crisis is so huge that in Pakistan, the government still not has come up with a plan. How are we going to deal with it? And that's the worry.
Imran, what is the mood on the ground? I mean, is there utter despair?
Well, Fareed, if you go to these camps now, and I went, a couple of times, and I don't want to go again, because, when you go to the camps, it's just so depressing what you see, because you can't do anything. You take 10 trucks of relief with you, and there are literally people fighting over the trucks. You have to have security to protect the trucks, because such is the state of the people right now that they're really fighting over the goods. And even in the government camps, and remember, this is a minuscule amount of people who've got into the government camps, there's no food there.
You feel that the government has simply not had a plan, and that President Zardari has been, in a sense, asleep at the switch. You think that his taking a trip abroad right as these floods began was a very bad mistake, symbolically and substantively?
Well, just look at the criticism George Bush got when Katrina happened. But at least he wasn't roaming around the world on a 10-day trip when all this devastation was taking place. And not just that, there was a personal trip. He was visiting his chateau. Then he went to launch his son's coronation in Birmingham, in England. And all this, that's where the shoe was thrown at him. And not surprisingly, because the country was being flooded, and he then made this excuse that he had gone abroad to collect money. But when you look at the money coming in, there's no money. No, it is the lowest ever donations received in a catastrophe as huge as these floods. So clearly there was no leadership. At the moment, no one knows what to do.
Let me ask you about something that people in the West are very concerned about, which is it true that in these camps, the few people who've been able to get into camps, the Islamic fundamentalist organizations are making great inroads precisely because the government has been absent and because there is no government help, so that it is organizations that, like Lashkar-e-Taiba, or it's renamed in various forms, or other Islamist groups that are providing the assistance and the aid while the government has been still found flat-footed. Is that true?
Fareed, the West has got to stop looking at Pakistan or Muslim countries in terms of the countries they're about to be. The biggest threat is Islamic fundamentalism. Remember, in our part of the world, These religious charities, parties have existed throughout. Never do they, whenever we have elections, no one ever votes for them, or their vote is as minute, a small percentage. You know, people do not get carried away and become fundamentalists or become religious extremists just because a religious party is doing social work. Now, for a Pakistani, this is not an issue at all. For a Pakistani, at the moment, it looks like an issue of survival. Anyone who comes forward, whether it is a religious charity or anyone, any help is welcome.
And what do you think are the consequences if this situation does not stabilize sometime soon?
The consequences in 3 months of this, if this is not addressed by us, the country is going to go into chaos. We could implode. We could have starving people, and you're talking again about 20 million people in dire straits. Where are they going to go with no food, no homes, no money, no crops, no animals?
Imran, I'm going to have to let you go. You're doing amazing work there. Thank you. Thank you for helping us.
Thank you, Fareed.